There was no time to be lost. Begum Khanzada was smart enough to comprehend this. Besides, being under the tutelage of a seasoned figure like her grandmother, Begum Ihsan Daulat had taught her to make swift and positive decisions. Those whose minds are in a quandary are sure to be doomed. Begum Ihsan had counseled her proteges time and again. Begum Khanzada had no intentions of letting her younger brother be doomed. The Temuri and Changezi blood flowing in her veins had further spurred the spirits. The stiffer the challenge, more steely should be your resolve. Begum Khanzada counselled her brother, and Babur adhered to her adage and wise counsel in letter and more so in its true spirit. Those were the times in Transoxiana when the laws of inheritance were not in practice. Only the rule of the reigning monarch prevailed. On the death of a monarch, the throne could be grabbed by whoever was capable enough. The heir had to fight to claim his father's throne. The aphorism, "Only a hand fit to hold the sword can take hold of the scepter," applied. Transoxiana was always, since times of yore, a hotbed or a furnace for accession feuds. Babur, unfortunately for him, had been impelled into this vortex at an extremely tender age of 12 years. Babur was indeed fortunate to have three women in his life as his staunchest of staunch supporters: his grandmother Begum Ihsan Daulat, his mother Khanum Kutlug Nigar, and his elder sister Begum Khanzada. It was here and at this time when the new young sovereign of the citadel of Andijan and the kingdom of Ferghana came in contact with Hassan Yaqub Beg, a man who became the first scourge of his life, a man who taught him the first bitter lesson of his life. Babur learned here that blind faith and trust on anyone is a springboard for a fatal dive into the waters of catastrophe. Meanwhile, there was a pleasant surprise on the day of the Eid. The guardians of the gates of the fort announced the arrival of a diplomat from the court of his relative, the Sultan of Samarkand. The envoy was ushered to the presence of the young Sultan of Ferghana. The court proceedings went on. Babur asked the envoy to convey his profound gratitude to the Sultan of Samarkand. He raised his hands, and out came a chain of attendants of the court, carrying trays laden with choicest of silk fabrics, dry fruits, and the seasonal fruits from the fertile valley of Ferghana, coupled with trays of precious stones. A return gift from a king, for a king, in expression of appreciation and gratitude. It was late in the evening when Babur reached the inner confines of the palace. Here he was accosted by three ladies in his life: his grandmother Begum Ihsan Daulat, his mother Khanum Kutlug Nigar, and his elder sister Khanzada Begum. Begum Ihsan Daulat's eyes were red, and it was apparent that she was seething with anger. There was a sense of pity for Babur's in the eyes of his mother and his sister. Babur knew instantly that he had erred somewhere, though unwittingly. "Don't you think you should have consulted before appointing Hassan Yaqub Beg at such a sensitive and key rank was Begum Daulat's demanding observation. Babur was stunned at the sudden and stern stance of his grandmother. Before he could ask anything, came the riposte from his grandmother, which shook him within himself, and he felt a sudden chill run down not only his spine, but his entire skeletal system. Nobody else but the keen and finely honed, observant eyes of an astute personage like Begum Khanzada could have judged this. She immediately nudged her grandmother, and Begum Daulat too took notice of this. They had observed the cunning glances of the envoy towards Hassan Yaqub, who had a tongue-in-cheek and a squirmy kind of body posture. Begum Daulat had got to the bottom of a conspiracy which nobody could even envisage. Khanzada Begum, who had now grown up to become a beautiful, a graceful, and a gracious woman, was observing and grasping all of this. Yes, she was a woman now, and heralding of the year 1495 implied that she had now entered into her 17th year, an age when almost all Transoxanian women would be married and probably become mothers by now. But not Khanzada Begum, because probably Providence had other designs for her. Not just designs, but grand designs. Apart from exceptional physical attributes, her upbringing and the education imparted to her made her more refined and sure and really worthy to be a Timurid princess. A woman fiercely proud of her ancestry as a Timurid princess. She had started taking an active interest in the affairs of the state. She was a staunch supporter of her brother. Hassan Yaqub had by now increased his seditious actions. It was obvious that he was conniving with the enemies of the kingdom of Farghana. One day, a soldier pulled up in front of Babur and dismounted in haste and made a quick taslim and uttered his message. Your Majesty, the traitor Hassan Yaqub has taken Aksi in his control. Aksi was the place where the mortal remains of Mirza Umar Sheikh were interred. When this news of Aksi being taken by Hassan Yaqub reached the ears of Khanzada Begum, the normally cool, calm, and composed Begum Khanzada lost her cool. The silver and brass utensils in her apartments flew left, right, and center. She was throwing them here and there, venting her anger. It was with great difficulty that she was brought under control. After a swift ride from the citadel of Andijan, the party of soldiers under the young Babur, flanked by his loyalists, Qasim Beg and Kamber Ali, reached Aksi. Hardly had they reached Aksi that the rear portion of their contingent was attacked. The soldiers started to fall like line pins, and they were unable to make an effective resistance. Such was the suddenness and ferocity of the attack. Being overzealous is a huge bane. Babur realized and learned this, and that too from his adversary. Seeing that his sudden attack had shook and rattled his opponent, Hassan Yaqub ventured out too far in the ranks of Babur's contingent, and that too all alone. His archers, who were on target and were causing considerable damage in Babur's ranks, could not spot their master in that darkness. Their arrows also took their master as a target. Hassan Yaqub was shot and injured, and that too fatally. Thus fell the turncoat Hassan Yaqub, a victim of his own treachery and his overzealousness. The maxim that kingdoms are won by valor and gallantry and not by treachery and pretense again held true. By sunrise, Oxy and the spirit of Mirza Umar Sheikh was liberated from the yoke and burden of a tyrant and an upstart. Babur immediately sent a swift messenger with the following message for Begum Khanzada. Baba's spirit rests now in peace, Abla. Khanzada Begum was exultant on hearing this. Her Kartes had really grown up. Abla is elder sister in Turkish, Kartes, brother. Begum Khanzada's visage had a huge sense of gratification now.